everyone, it's Katie Kreisdale here from Lakeview Aquatic Consultants. Welcome back to your weekly Aquatic Industry Insider. So in this video, I want to share with you a disturbing video that I found on Instagram, and I want to talk about water safety and drowning preventions in for-profit athletic events. So one of the things that I've been preparing for this week is a discussion with Katie Cleesby, who you might recall I interviewed a few months ago about her dissertation on lifeguards at open water swimming events, such as triathlons and Ironman competitions. So we've been in conversation the last couple days for an interview or discussion that we're going to be having later today about the recent CrossFit fatality of an athlete during the open water swim in Fort Worth, Texas last week. And so the algorithm is completely aware of topics that I'm interested in. And then last night I was fed this Instagram reel that I'm going to show you, and I could not get over the lunacy and the idiocy of what I was seeing. I knew I had to share it with you on YouTube because I think it is a watershed moment in terms of public awareness about these types of events. So I want to start by saying that I have never participated in one of these for-profit private events, whether we're talking about a triathlon, an Ironman, a Tough Mudder, a Spartan race, all of these events that started to become very popular about 10, 15, 20 years ago. I do consider myself an athletic person, but paying to participate in a road race or a multi-course race is not my particular level of interest. I have nothing against the people who do these types of events. They may be very popular. They may be very, very well attended. They may be athletes who've done a lot of training to prepare for these types of events, but they also include people who are just registering for these types of events on a whim, because it is a New Year's resolution, because they want to get fit, because their friends are doing it. And so when I saw this Instagram reel last night, I was really, really shocked that something like this exists in a civilian setting. So let's go ahead and watch this clip. I'm going to embed it here on the off chance that it does get taken down. So I want to start by discussing what we see on the screen. This is a very close crop on an obstacle in a Tough Mudder event. It doesn't specify the location. It doesn't specify the people. We don't have any context as to the actual length of the obstacle, how many people are in the obstacle at one time. The camera is panning and showing a variety of people, though, essentially in a trench that has a garbage bag full of water, creating a mud scene. And then on top of that, there is essentially panels of chain link fence and wooden barriers that are preventing somebody from pushing up or escaping. Now, if you do look in the comments for this particular post, there are a lot of different opinions that are shared, some that I completely agree with, some that I do not. But you will notice a number of people saying thank you for prompt rescue from this particular event. So I think it's important to note right from the outset that people have already commented on this particular video that they participated in this type of obstacle at a Tough Mudder event, and that they themselves admitted to needing rescue. It's not a value judgment that they needed rescue. It's not a question that they were not rescued. But I do want to highlight that even in this reel, which has hundreds of thousands of likes and a certain number of comments, that there are people admitting that they needed rescuing from this particular obstacle course. So speaking as a water safety professional, why do I care about this video, right? It is possible to see something you disagree with on the internet and click on by and not do anything about it. I was naive, I guess, about these for-profit events. These are private corporations that stage these large-scale events, and they are for-profit in the sense that they are not run by youth sport. They are not run by nonprofit sport in a given state or province. These are actually corporations that have franchises in the sense of different locations in different cities or states, and they generate revenue by running these types of events. As I shared in the video with Dr. Katie Cleesby, my personal experience dealing with one for-profit triathlon here in Alberta was that particular organization, those particular organizers were looking to cut corners to shave costs when it came to things like road closures and mandatory staff levels of police or ambulance. That does not mean that every race corporation around the world is doing the same thing, but that experience does inform my commentary on something like this, where as a lifeguard and a water safety professional for over 20 years, this is an incredibly high risk and irresponsible type of event to have an obstacle of this nature where people are truly struggling to keep their mouth out of the water, truly struggling, I'm assuming, to move through thick, muddy water. How deep is it? We can't tell here. We don't know how much clearance there is. I see people hitting their heads on the frame of the chain link fence. I see people having to lower their head under the wooden support beams. And then there is a black area completely where there is advertising, and it is complete pitch darkness before the participant exits out of this muddy trough of water. So I was horrified to see this particular reel, and one of the primary reasons I wanted to record this video is because I do wonder if this reel will be taken down. I don't have any knowledge if these mud features or these quote obstacles are common at Tough Mudder, if they're common with any other organizations. I don't know if this was a one-off situation in one location or this is a frequent occurrence.
Get out of the way, keep up, you're all right. Walk up.
Definitely naive in being unaware that these types of obstacles exist. And I really wonder who is signing off on something like this, because it is high risk in terms of having this type of obstacle at an event. And that is not even from the perspective of somebody who knows about trenching and collapsing walls in terms of excavation. I can't even speak to what is a safe depth to excavate, how you stabilize the walls of an excavated space. I just look at this and I'm horrified by the individuals who are forced to go through an obstacle like this and may not have the understanding or the preparation to do so safely. I understand that people who pay these race fees, they run the risk of being in a quote difficult or dangerous situation. I understand that people have agency and they can choose not to participate, not to complete an obstacle like this. I understand that I'm sure some people chose not to complete an obstacle like this for whatever individual reason pertaining to their safety. And there's some people who did not complete the event or did not complete the obstacle because they had to be rescued, either voluntarily or forcefully. But I have so many concerns with the implications of people swimming through water like this and thinking that it's safe. A big event with a lot of people who are not necessarily screened for their swimming aptitude. You'll notice in the caption for this particular reel that it says to sign up for the Toughen Up newsletter to get expert tips on tackling obstacles like the cage crawl. So they are aware that people need tips to tackle obstacles like this. Are those tips to increase your performance and your speed? Or are those key tips that not everyone has access to in terms of safety? Because this is completely irresponsible, in my personal opinion, to have people swimming backwards on their back through dark conditions in muddy water in a questionable depth in a quote basin, mud pit, if we can even call it that, of questionable structural integrity. And then we need to layer on the bacteria factor of this. What is it going to do to people to have this bacteria-laden water? It's uncirculated, it's undisinfected, it's very clearly cloudy and brown. Is it, quote, just regular mud from your local soccer field? Or is there bacteria from each individual person who's passed through this obstacle that is sitting undisinfected, that is breeding as hundreds or potentially thousands of people pass through this obstacle? It can lead to serious health conditions in terms of ear infections, nose infections, bacterial infections. I mean, that is the topic of the week this week in August, as there is an increasing number of triathletes and open water swimmers who are going to hospital with infections, flu, and illness after swimming in the Seine River in Paris last week due to questionable bacteria and E. coli levels. I really, really felt that it was important that you be aware as an aquatic professional or somebody in the pool industry, or even somebody who genuinely likes registering for these types of events, about the risks associated with some of these events. And in my opinion, there is definitely an absence of oversight or risk management if an organization is allowing something like this to occur repeatedly, and it's codified through something like a newsletter that indicates we're going to give you tips for how to improve your performance. This is not a one-off situation where one individual site may on their own, without proper supervision or proper management oversight, may have decided to do something like this. It was very clearly orchestrated in a way that shows that this is being done at multiple locations or multiple times if they think it's okay to do this. Let me know in the comments box below, do you agree with my concerns and my horror over a video like this? Is it overkill? Am I taking it too far in the sense that adults are able to make their own autonomous decisions? If they want to do something like this, so be it, it's on them. Or were you aware of events like this? Do you have any friends or colleagues who have participated in these types of events and had positive or negative experiences? Let me know what your thoughts are, and I'll catch you in the next video.